different agency in a formal situation or informal situation, and this has made some of our CNAs to be able to recruit it to go and work in different parts of the world. I will say we do have 2 CNAs who have gone to Finland, and they are currently working in Finland, and we also have others who are in the pipeline. Hopefully they will be able to go to Finland before the year come to an end, or in the beginning of 2025. And we are looking for more partnerships. We are looking for more partnership. We are exploring partnering with other agencies who are willing to take our CNAs. And in the US, we also have students who have gotten contract through different agencies, and I will be very sincere here that we do not have any relationship with any agency that is bringing CNAs to the US. But what we do is that we normally advise our students, also advise them on how they are supposed to write their CVs, also advise them on advise them on how they are supposed to go through the interview. And I think also the agencies have gone through our CVs, our transcript and certificate, and they have seen something in it that is attracting them to get our student. And I want to tell you that a large number of our students have been recruited by these agencies, and some of our students are just waiting to go for visa interview. They have gone through the entire process of the immigration to the US as a CNA. The only thing that they are waiting is the visa interview. And when we started this, it wasn't only our students. There are people who went to other schools, but they came through us, requested for a conversation with us, requested for a consultation, and we also helped them. So they are also in that pipeline. A large number of them are in the pipeline, and I'm saying by mid next year we'll be able to see CNAs starting to arrive in the US, because a number of CNA are very advanced with the process of coming to the US. So there's a lady who told me that or who went on TikTok and said that we were lying to people when we say that there's a possibility of a CNA coming to the US. And I even gave them an example. I gave her a link to go through so that she can find if whatever we were talking about was true, because she said that there's no shortage of the CNA in the US, and myself have seen there's a big shortage of the CNA in the US, and I've worked in the nursing home since March 2020, so I know what I'm talking about. So the CNA process starts this way. You apply to the agency, and you can only be recruited if you have a certificate, and also you have a certificate of employment showing that you've been working at that particular place whereby you've indicated, and this one has to be signed by your immediate supervisor. Can be a registered nurse, can be nurse in charge, can be the human resource director, can be the director of the hospital, director of nursing, medical superintendent, chief executive officer of the hospital, chairman of the board. All these people can sign your letter of employment, and you must have at least 6 months for you to be considered. Now the process went this way. After you've applied, they will put you into several stages. Then finally you do the interview, then you provide the certificate of employment, then they will give you a contract. In the past, it was even easier for those who tried this process in 2023, 2022. They never require one to submit a certificate of employment before being given a contract. You used to get the contract first, then later on you submit the letter of employment or certificate of employment. But nowadays you have to give them the certificate of employment. They go through it, the immigration department go through the certificate of employment for them to give you a contract. After you've been given a contract, now they will hand you over to the immigration department that will work on your petition. So for a CNA, and even for most of the medical laboratory scientists, they will usually go through the labor certification process. The labor certification process is whereby the agency or the immigration department sent a petition to the US Department of Labor indicating that the job that you are being recruited for has been offered to Americans, and none of the Americans opted to apply for that job. So they are doing this to protect American job. So the Department of Labor will try to go through the petition, check on the newspaper adverts, advertising for that job at the particular pay that has been offered to you as someone who is a foreign trained CNA. So when the Department of Labor approved this, then this thing will come back to the immigration department. Now immigration department will now do a second petition called I-140 petition. Now this is the petition for a permanent resident visa for the CNA. So this one can take 2 weeks, can take 3 months, can take 6 months for it to be responded. Sometimes the USCIS, the department that received this petition, will either accept it or request for additional evidence. And request for additional evidence is that they are requesting the petitioner to provide more evidence, in the sense that are they able to pay the wages that they have indicated. So maybe the petitioner will provide their bank details to show that they are able to pay your salary. And if the USCIS guys are good with it, they will accept it. And now the next thing is that they will send you a welcome letter. Then the welcome letter will come with direction on what to do. Now this is whereby you will have to gather all the documents that you have and fill a form called D260. After filling this form of D260, now you will get another thing from the consulate telling you that your case is now complete. They're just waiting for your priority date to be current. When your priority date is current, then they will invite you to go to the embassy for the visa interview. When you do the visa interview, you will come to the US. So that's how the process goes. And I'm saying that the process is quite lengthy, and anyone who wants to come to the US must be patient. So the process is very lengthy, and this applies to everyone, whether you are a medical doctor, you are a nurse, you are a medical laboratory technologist, you are a physiotherapist. The process is quite lengthy for everyone, and everyone has to wait. Currently, most nurses who started this process, registered nurses in 2022, have not arrived in the US yet because of retrogression. They are not current. Their priority date is not current. That's the reason why they have not arrived in the US. So if you're trying to tell me to tell you that a CNA will start the process in the late 2022 or early January, why has that CNA has not arrived in the US? And I'm telling you that go research on the immigration process, on how long it will take someone to come to the US on a permanent or an employment-based permanent resident visa. It could be fast for some people who are coming as family members or fiancé, coming on a fiancé visa, or coming on an immigrant visa. But those coming on employment-based visa, because the US government must also protect jobs for the American, they have to be very, very sure that this person is not coming to take American jobs, and that's why they require you to do the labor certification process, which will show that the job that the company is recruiting for has already been offered to Americans at the wages that the company is intending to pay that foreign trained nursing assistant, and they could not get anyone from America. That's why they have decided to procure or source for the foreign trained CNA. So I will say the process is there, very competitive.